David Coote was suspended. We spoke about this a bit last week after his Liverpool and Klopp comments, some things that came after that, not so pretty as well. Should fans have faith in the PGMOL to investigate this properly and stop it happening again? Or is this kind of a one-off only because they got caught? Because I think for a lot of fans, it becomes a worry that, did they know about this prior? And should we be doing investigating before bad things come out to make sure that matches are being refereed fairly?
Yeah, look, all great points, Will. Look, this is a very, very tricky situation for the PGMOL. Like you, I was amazed when the footage came out, and I couldn't believe it. It was incredible. I think we mentioned before that, yes, I mean, Jurgen Klopp's had a good go at David Coote, and I saw a video came out of the things that Jurgen Klopp has said about him. And I do, accept that the words Coote used were mainly about Klopp as a person and not necessarily about any decisions or that he manipulated things. So we've got to bear that in mind. However, to get to your question about the PGMOL, this is crucial for the PGMOL to really do this properly. Their whole reputation of the organisation is at stake. And so if they don't do this properly, I think the PGMOL might find themselves taken over. I would go that far that it could be taken over if they can't prove they can run themselves correctly. This is a big one for them. So justice must be seen to be done and not just done. There's got to be a fully detailed, transparent inquiry that comes out. Big issues at stake, and should things have been investigated beforehand? Very possibly. And this does indicate that this sort of situation, there needs to be better checks and better background checks on the behaviour of those referees, because they are so crucial in the game. We want to support them. They're being paid well, but still, they have certain responsibilities. And this inquiry, as you say, is crucial, and they've got to show it to have been done correctly. Everybody will accept whatever decision they come to, provided it's been done correctly. That's the main thing.
And it feels like there's a lot of chatter about this all the time that, if you look at where a percentage of the referees are from, almost all of them are from the north of England and most of them from the Manchester area. Do you think that these types of investigations need to happen yearly, every 2 years, every 3 years, just to make sure that there aren't these types of things coming out? Because one more of these types of videos or, let's say, WhatsApp messages or anything like that to appear, and I mean, the PGMOL is going to be in absolute shambles, more than it even is right now, and it just feels like one of those where we should be constantly checking in on those who are supposed to be officiating the game.
Well, it is one thing to have appearances, and I think they've got to be educated much more about, and I'm sure many of them do understand the danger of social media and saying the wrong things. It's all about appearances of being impartial. I don't think we've seen any real cases of finding out where referees have done anything wrong on purpose, any match fixing issues at all. I think luckily in the English game we've had good referees that have done that, and I would never allude to that. But certainly, as you said, it's the appearance of being biased is the issue. And I don't believe they are actually biased, but it's the appearance is what they've got to avoid. And they've got to be a lot smarter about what they do. And that's where I think the education needs to come in for those referees. And a lot of them have grown up in the game, obviously, and understand as a fan the tribal loyalties of certain clubs. And of course, they've got their own affiliations. But still, we've got to be clear that they've really got to be, whiter than white when it comes to anything done in public. And it's a big issue, but we need referees, and we've got to make sure it functions correctly. But it's more about appearances, I think, right now, rather than any concerns I've got about things going wrong for the wrong reasons.
And should Liverpool fans actually feel more incensed about this than any other fan, or this is equally as mind-blowing to all English football fans?
Yeah, I think it goes across the board. I don't think it's a Liverpool issue. The fact that Coote and Klopp didn't get on well, look, they're both human beings. I mean, Coote's perfectly entitled not to like people, and the way people treat him, I get it. I mean, there's a lot of people in football that I don't like. But nevertheless, I wouldn't go around necessarily recording it on the video. So it's about the behaviour. So, that's just what they've got to learn not to do. But listen, I know that David Coote would rather rewind that day in his life if he could do, I'm sure, and wish it never happened. You can bet that. But look, let's not forget, as I say, there are human beings at stake here. There will be personal feelings, and people will say things on either side of the fence. But what we've got to do is just be careful that it's the actual refereeing on the day is the main focus, and let's not the referees become part of the story off the pitch as well.